Hello everyone, welcome to the live stream. This is going to be a live stream of Dirk Schiemann's seminar on ugly plays, when to put your checkers where they don't belong. Right now we're just starting the stream. We're going to take a break for about 30 minutes, leave the stream running just to make sure everything is working, and then we'll be back shortly. Thank you everyone for joining. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, what you'd like to see in future videos, and I'll work on it. If you love Backgammon, you can become a member of this channel, giving you exclusive access to the most popular videos. My book, Backgammon, Backgame Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is also in the description. We will be starting shortly. We are at the 2024 California State Backgammon Championships in Los Angeles, California, and Dirk Schiemann will be giving a seminar by way of introduction. For those that follow Backgammon, he needs no introduction. Dirk Schiemann is the top-rated player, one of only two Super Grandmasters in the world, top rated on BMAB, the Backgammon Masters awarding body. He achieved that this year. He's the author of two books. The first is A Theory of Backgammon, an outstanding book. It's kind of like an encyclopedia. It's technical, but I really enjoy it. And his new book, I had the privilege of proofreading, called To Hit or Not to Hit, and that's an outstanding book. Not technical at all, so I highly recommend it. Volume 1 is out. He has copies for sale here, and you can get some from his website, and he's working on volume 2. Maybe that will be published next year. So again, we'll take a break. Feel free to chat on the live chat. Let us know who's watching, where you're watching from, and we'll get started at approximately 9 a.m. Pacific time, which is 5 p.m. GMT. And we'll go to break for now. All right, welcome everyone. Can I have your attention, please? Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us. We're going to get started. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Welcome.
Jeff, you want to just holler at everybody out there?
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
So, hello. Welcome. My name is Alex Asagian. It's a pleasure to have you. We're very lucky to have an outstanding speaker, Dirk Schiemann, on Friday the 13th. Thank you very much. It is Friday the 13th, 2024. We're at the 2024 California State Backgammon Championships. This is being live streamed on YouTube, so there is a live chat. You'll be able to watch it later. And I'm going to introduce the organizer and producer, my good friend Candace Mayeron, who will in turn introduce our speaker, Dirk Schiemann from Germany. By way of introduction, for those who know Dirk, for those who follow Backgammon, he needs no introduction. One of the best players in the world, one of only two Super Grandmasters. He achieved that this year. Top-rated player on BMAB, author of two outstanding books. He's got the new one here. I think Candace is going to say all that. Candace is going to say that. So I'll cut, and here is Candace. Thank you very much.
Okay, when I introduced Dirk, what he said. All right. Welcome, everybody that's here, and thank you so much. And a special welcome to all the people that are following us around the world here to listen to Dirk's lecture today. Before I get into that, however, I'd like to say a word about Alex Asagian and the kind of work he's been doing lately. For the last 2 years, Alex has established himself as one of the foremost analysts of backgammon through his insights that he gives on Facebook. He has copy-read a number of the books that you are currently reading. His live streaming is reaching a peak of perfection, and I'm so appreciative to all the work that he's doing here at the California State Tournament. Please come over. Frank and Patrick, will you come over here, please? I'd also like to introduce you. We have a narrow field of vision on the camera. These are my tournament directors, and the reputation that this tournament has as being smoothly run is due to these two men. On my left is Patrick Gibson, Hall of Fame tournament director, and a hell of a backgammon player on his own right.
Thank you, thank you.
This is Patrick's 94th international tournament directing.
I thought you were going to say 94th birthday.
Eventually I'll get it right.
And on my right is Frank Talbot, one of the best players in America, and he ushered the United States team to its second place win in 2023. 23 in Skopje, Macedonia. And so I'm so grateful to have them by my side. Thank you, gentlemen. Oh yeah, Dirk Schiemann. Okay. Dirk Schiemann from Germany is renowned author of 2 best-selling books, The Theory of Backgammon and To Hit or Not to Hit. He is giant number 6, and he recently became only the second person to earn a BMAB Super Grandmaster 2. This will be Dirk's first appearance in the United States playing competitive backgammon for over 20 years, and his first appearance in Los Angeles. It is my great honor to present our very special guest of honor, Dirk Schiemann.
Thank you very much, Candace. Thank you. Okay, ready to go? Welcome to my lecture on ugly plays. And I know you want to start to get out playing, so I will just start right away without a big introduction, and I will start with the position that motivated me to do this lecture. So I was looking at the 6-2 in an opening situation, and so my first thought was my book.
We don't have a microphone. Please speak up a little bit if you can.
Even more. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I will try. Microphone is not working.
That's for the live stream.
That's for the live stream. Okay, I will try to yell at you. Okay, so my thought process was as follows. So certainly I shouldn't hit like the blot on the 10 point. I mean, at least I felt that my book, To Hit or Not to Hit, would say no, because my anchor is my only asset, and my opponent already has a good priming, or starts a priming structure. So then I decided, so I have to play 24-18. But then what am I going to do with the 2? So raise is close, so I don't want to leave any shots. Slotting the 4 point with the deuce, like playing, where's the mouse? Playing up to here to the 4 point didn't make much sense, and neither did 13-11. So then I reverted to, okay, since the alternatives don't make much sense, so I better hit anyway, even though the book would say no. And of course it was a mistake. And you can see the play that is best is a play that I didn't even consider. So moving to the 18 was correct, but then you actually should play 8-6. And why didn't I consider this? And that has to do with the decision-making process in backgammon. So when you look at the resulting position, I mean, it looks really ugly. And since our decision process, since we cannot calculate exactly our decisions and see the future, we have to rely on pattern recognition. So then very quickly after we learn the rules of the game, we learn to tell good structures from bad structures. So then you are told to avoid stacks, for example, and killing checkers and all that stuff. So then with all that in mind and with that model of the game in our heads, or at least in my head, then these plays that look so ugly just fall under the radar. I oftentimes, when such a play is correct, I make the mistake of not considering it. And I think many players, especially the better they get, the less they will consider a play like this. For a beginner, this looks perfectly fine. Yeah. I mean, if you just, I mean, everything is safe. So yeah, for a beginner, maybe a beginner would find this play easily. Okay, so that was the motivation to investigate the topic a little bit more, and so to basically find out the factors that may lead to an ugly play to be correct. So in this lecture, we will start first of all to define what is an ugly play, because ugly is just not a very clear term. So what is ugly? And then we will look at situations where it might be nevertheless correct and determine the factors that are important for the decision. And then we will do a quiz, like I have 10 quiz positions where one of the options is playing ugly, and I thought the easiest would be like I show you the position, give you like half a minute or a minute to think about it, also depends on the time, and then I will just, you raise your hand for the different plays, and then we will see who finds the ugly play when it's correct. And so let's start with the structures that are perceived to be ugly. I mean, stacks, as you saw in the example, like in the starting position, the stacks on the 6 point and the midpoint already look kind of bad, and we learn we should try to unstack these points. So five checkers on a point is already kind of iffy, but 6 checkers is close to a no-go, and 7 or more is just super ugly. So then Dilly builders, by that I mean extra checkers on low points, are also perceived to be ugly, like a 3rd checker on the 3 point or on the deuce point. That doesn't look nice. And dead checkers, of course, that's the most horrible thing, like especially early in the game. I mean, 3 checkers on your ace point, that's just terrible. And basically, you try to do anything to avoid something like this. But we will see some spots later on where it is still correct. So, of course, you don't see these ugly plays all the time, and that has a good reason. I mean, you should avoid stacks, Dilly builders, and of course especially dead checkers, because when you only have stacks and strip points, let's say, there are very few rolls, mainly doublets, that improve your position. So that's called an inflexible position. And then the Dilly builders are bad because ideally you want to make your high inner board points, like the 4 point and the 5 point, to block your opponent. And so once you have placed a checker deeper in your home board, it's useless for that purpose. And dead checkers, of course, are even worse, because a Dilly builder still might be useful, but a dead checker is completely out of play. So basically, these are the reasons why we should avoid these structures in general. So let's look another example for, okay, let's talk first about stacks. So what's the advantage of making the stacking play? I mean, basically the only advantage is that it's completely safe. So like we saw in the first example. So that was the only thing that argued in favor for that play. So therefore, we should consider these stacking plays when all the alternatives leave shots and getting hit is costly. And we will see examples of when getting hit is costly and when it is not, or not so much at least. And we should also note that flexibility, so that it's not stacking, is especially important when your game plan is blocking your opponent, but not so much when your game plan is racing or when you're in a holding game. So these decisions about ugly plays are often closely related to game plan. So when you think you contain an opposing checker, so please don't put a 3rd checker on your ace point, for example. That's not going to work. Okay, so here I have another example of an ugly play. So we are in a situation, we are in a holding situation. First thought that I had in this position, I mustn't run out because it's just much too dangerous to expose two blots. And so I would be attacked with 3s and 4s in the inner board, with deuces in the outer board. That's just way too dangerous. And then again, the only play that seemed to be viable was hitting loose on the 5 point. Anyway, we are taught it's usually a good idea to hit loose on our 5 point in order to make it if our opponent doesn't hit back. But as you can see, almost a blunder to hit there. And that's simply because getting hit back is very costly. The race, we are leading in the race, and our opponent has a strong prime, and the third checker back really hurts our chances. And then think about, okay, you're taking a risk, and think about what do you gain when it works. So then you may get the 5 point, but still would have a kind of stacked position, but you give up the 10 point, and actually the 10 point is probably a better blocking point than the 5 point in this position. So in the end, again, as before, I mean, here you put a 7th checker on the 6 point, and it totally escaped. I mean, my pattern recognition system. I mean, it's just like something. It's difficult to do. I don't know what you think about it, but it looked kind of the beginner play, doesn't it? Okay, I don't know. Maybe. Okay, so that's, now let's talk about Dilly builders. So we will talk about Dilly builders mainly as a pick and pass play here. By the way, that's also an object of study. It certainly will be part of volume 2 of To Hit or Not to Hit, when to do these pick and pass plays and when to leave the blot in your home board after you hit loose. And basically the reasons why you want to lift the blot are the same why you may want to be stacking. The advantage is it's safe. And when safety is the most important consideration, okay, so then you do these, produce a Dilly builder. And to illustrate this, I will show you a standard opening position like so. So this is really, I think, all of you will get this right. Opening 5-3 followed by a 4-5. You hit, and naturally you unstack your midpoint, bring a builder down. I guess nobody here would consider lifting the blot and playing it to the 3 point. So now, what happens if our opponent makes the 5 point? So opening sequence 3-1, 5-3, 5-4, 2-1. So, and you can see, now it's a bit different because now our opponent has a strong priming structure already. So we might want to play defense and split our back checkers in order to try to get a better anchor. But you can see unstacking the mid is as good. So it's between these two plays, but still lifting the blot leaves us without any good game plan. It doesn't do anything on the defensive end, and it's also hard to see how you can develop your front position with that extra checker on the 3. But now let's change the opening sequence still a bit, and now we started with the 6-5. Now we only have one checker back. We are ahead in the race, and now it's pretty clear that our game plan should be racing. So the idea is try to get that back checker home and somehow get your checkers around the board, basically. And in a situation like this, then you can see the Dilly builder play, the pick and pass play is actually correct. And yeah, not by a significant margin, I would say. And again, it's just too costly to get hit back, and then basically our only game plan that we have for now is gone, because then we have again two checkers back, and will be down in the race. So here, that's a typical example where getting hit back is indeed too costly. So here's another example. So we could either play safe. We could make the play that I did, 11, 10, 6, 4. Or we could play the stupid Dilly builder play that looks kind of horrible. First thing, our opponent's blot on the 20 that might be an indicator that we can play a bit more risky is deceiving. So you can see anything but the Dilly builder play is almost a blunder. And when you look at your opponent's numbers after 11 hitting numbers, after 11, 10, 6, 4, you will notice so double deuces covers, for 1 covers, for 2 covers, for 3 covers, for 6 hits 2 checkers. So this blot in our opponent's home board is a weakness, is a little bit of an illusion. And again, you can see, I mean, now you probably are a bit familiarized with the factors because you can see the race is close. So it would be really bad for us to get hit back. We're in a kind of holding, not a holding situation, but we certainly don't want the white's checker to escape. And you also can see this structure. This is not going to be a priming game anymore ever. So that's not going to happen. So all the key ingredients are basically there for a play like this to be correct. Okay. And now the warning. Don't overdo it. I mean, give black a 3-2 in this position. Then the pick and pass play wouldn't only create a Dilly builder, but a dead checker. And you can see there is a limit to everything. Then indeed, either you hit loose or playing completely safe is also fine, but you can see producing a dead checker is just much worse than having the Dilly builder on the 3-point that can still be used to make the deuce point, at least if our opponent enters with a deuce. Okay, so that brings us to the dreaded dead checkers. So we just saw killing a checker is much worse than producing a Dilly builder. And yeah, that's because the dead checker is completely useless, so you're playing essentially with one fewer checker. And the Dilly builder can still be used at some point later in the game. And so basically the main factor about creating a dead checker or not is how much longer do you think the game will last? I mean, let's like an analogy from soccer. So it's basically creating a dead checker is giving a red card to your checker. So so receiving a red card in the 10th minute of the game, that's a total disaster. But maybe in the 87th minute, it's still bad. You don't like it, but it's far less of a disaster. So we will find these dead checker plays. So mostly when there's a good chance that the game will end soon. So the longer the game lasts, the worse it is having to play with only 14 checkers against 15. Yes?
For us stupid people, what's a red card?
When okay, yeah, you don't have red cards in your sports. Yeah, that's a red card. You can a player is expulsion. So in football, it's 11 against 11. Red card means one team has to play with 10 for the rest of the game. Not like so that means if the game lasts like 80 minutes more, it's really a disadvantage to play 10 against 11. Actually, a mathematician calculated the turning, like the tipping point between receiving a goal or receiving a red card. So in the first half, you basically rather receive a goal than getting a red card. And after the 55th minute, that's the break-even point. Then it's better to receive the red card statistically than receiving a goal at the score of 0-0. So, okay, that's a little tangent. On football, yeah, we call it football, by the way, but okay. So here we have one of these examples where you indeed want to kill a checker, and that's mainly, first of all, these plays occur mainly when you don't have good alternatives. You certainly don't want to jump out to the 15 point and play 7-6, because then fives and aces hit in the outfield and sixes and fours hit inside your checker on the 23 point. So you're going to be attacked for sure. So you got to do something. So that means you have to play 7-2 with a 5, or you should. And then it's just like playing 7-6 is not very appealing either. Again, it really hurts to get hit back. And we are not so excited to make the deuce point. I mean, we would like to have it, of course, but not so excited to make the deuce point either. So it reduces our flexibility, playing 7-6, that is. And so for no better option, we indeed should play 2-1, which I, of course, refuse to do because of my pattern recognition problem that I have, that I just cannot bring myself to it. Actually, I oftentimes hear students say, well, I couldn't bring myself to it to do this. I mean, it just hurts. I mean, that's a problem. Like with chess players, when they see an isolated double pawn, or how it's called, it just hurts when you have the experience and know which structures are aesthetically pleasing and which are not. Okay, so that's here's another example. So clearly, I mean, we are down 40 pips, but our opponent is a little bit of trouble, because he will have to give up something, either his anchor or break his board. So here, in this situation, it's very likely that soon some shots will be left and blots will be hit. So first of all, we don't want to really go to the 16 point, because that leaves more shots and reduces contact. We are down in the race. We want to maximize contact. So, and probably white will, and first observation is if white rolls a 6, white has to run. But a little more subtle observation may be if white rolls a 4-2, for example, white will have to break the 6 point and hit us on the 21 point. So it's extremely likely that we will be able to shoot at something on the next turn, and then a blot in our homeboard is rather a liability. And this is a game like when you try to predict how it's going to turn out, probably there will be some shots left, and somebody gets hit, and the first one who dances loses the game. That's basically it. So, and in that situation, it's really better to just kill the checker than leave a liability in our home board. So, I guess hard to do in this situation, because it feels like we are down in the race and we need all our checkers. But note, we won't win this game by priming. We already have our deep points made. So again, that's very typical in these situations where an ugly play is correct. Your game plan is not priming. Okay. So this is another example. So we just rolled a joker from the bar. So we have to hit on the 21. 39 is also forced as the second 4, basically. Or not really forced. Sorry, forget about that. So you can either play then 10-6 and make the 4 point, hit loose on the 5 point and play 39, or hit loose, play pick and pass. And now, first question of the day: can anybody imagine why why is this play the only play here in this position? Any idea? Yeah?
Because I like it?
Yeah, you like, okay, that's a good argument. So any other arguments?
Two on the bar.
The cube. Here, I heard the cube. Who said the cube? Very good. The solution is the cube here. So, with the cube in the center, so we have access to the cube. And that means when our opponent enters with just one checker or dances, we just win. The game is over. And that's what I meant. You can give a red card when there's a likelihood that that's going to be not much left to play. So as you can see, same position. Now with the cube, without access to the cube, exactly the same position. Killing the checker is a big blunder, because when you don't have access to the cube and you want to win the game, you have to play until the bitter end. So you have to finish the game. So it's going to be a long game. So in that situation, you cannot afford to kill a checker. And you can see, like, I mean, we can go back. It's like a 250 swing in equity just because of the position of the cube. But I guess it makes sense when you think about it. When you have access to the cube, so either our opponent rolls a bad number, then we win whether we leave the blot on our 5 point or not. And if he rolls a 5, so it doesn't matter what we play, basically. And if he rolls a number that hits us, a 5, then we are better off playing safe than getting hit. So there's absolutely no upside for the risky play when the cube is accessible to us. And of course, that's not the case when we have given the cube already. Okay, so let's summarize this. So you should consider an ugly play when, as we have seen, the alternatives leave many shots and the race is close or we are leading. Of course, when our opponent has a strong board or prime and getting hit back is very costly because of that. And very important, your main game plan is not priming. So as we have seen, racing or all these holding type situations. Or we should really strongly consider or probably do the ugly play when we can end the game with a cube after a bad roll by our opponent. So that's the cube access factor. Okay, so now we get to the quiz. And as I said, first of all, any questions? I mean, this is a good point to take. Any question, anything? Okay, then continue to the quiz. I will show you the position. Actually, I can show you the first position. So here are the options. So I will always give you options. And yeah, I don't know, how long do you want me to wait before you make up your mind?
40 seconds.
Hmm?
40 seconds.
Okay, 40 seconds. I don't have seconds on my, but I will wait a bit. Just digest the position. And so you can't. The race is black. Black is down 43 pips. So pip. Okay, I can tell you the pip count, but then it's better. I put my glasses on. Yeah, or I can see it like this. I mean, it probably doesn't look good on the live stream, but who cares? So black 155, white 112. Just had my glasses here. Incredible. But I can see it here. I can see it better. Okay, so ready? So who's playing 14-11? Okay, that's definitely a minority. 13-11, elf. 6-5. Okay. More. And yeah, I reduced the possible options to make it easier, but it's not 11-9, I promise. Or so who is gonna who is in favor of hitting and lifting? Okay, I think we have like a slight plurality maybe for 13, 11, 6, 5, right? And correct. So what ingredient is missing here? So the ingredient that the...
might be able to fry.
Hmm?
You might be able to play.
Yeah, and what is also important, I think, is that the race is not close. So really, we rely on containing that checker. And
You have an advantage.
yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. And so we need to build a prime, and we need to contain that checker. I mean, that's our best way of winning the game. So we cannot afford a Dilly builder here. So probably with the race closer, or even then it might be a good choice. Yeah.
Are these unlimited with Jacoby?
Yeah, they are all unlimited. Good to mention that. So just to standardize it, they are all unlimited with Jacoby, I think. Yeah, it
If
does.
you get missed, is there a possibility of a cube here?
If I get missed, no, I wouldn't say so. I mean, with like still
playing
30
the wrong
pips
Schwester.
time. Hmm?
You're playing in the wrong Schwester.
Yeah, I mean, you think you will find some passes? Anybody? No, really. I guess if you want to, I mean, I think even after white dances, no, it's just too far away. No market losers, no cube. Okay, next one.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah, sure.
So what if you took the spare on his 6 point and put it on the midpoint? So now, on those occasions when he uses the deuce
Uh-huh.
to hit, does that change the equity a lot?
Probably. I mean,
Derek, can you please repeat the question there? So they
okay. So where do you want to put white checkers from the?
Spare on his 6 point and put it on his midpoint.
What? Yeah.
So now, when he wants to use a deuce to hit that,
Okay, so then he doesn't need to give up the midpoint. I think that is not super relevant here. I still think probably you should just do the same because you are way down in the race. That's the disadvantage with PowerPoints, because had I done it with XG, then I could just put it in. But so I cannot say for sure, but I would guess that it doesn't change too much. But that's only a guess. Okay, so next one. So pip count is black 118, white 122. Okay, ready. Who is playing 8786? Okay, that's so anybody who plays anything else. Yeah, okay, so at least one, but this time the majority again is correct. So there's, I mean, it's a strong board. Yeah, okay, so there's always this little bit of doubt. Nothing is certain. In 10 years, maybe it will reverse. So, but for now, let's just go with the computer until we get better information. So this is a classic situation where it really hurts to get hit. I mean, all the factors are there. Close, strong board, close race, and actually, if we make the 5 point, which is kind of a standard play in similar situations, I mean, we don't even gain that much. Like white could roll the 6 and jump out, so then the 5 point is kind of useless. Not completely useless, but it doesn't help much. Or even if white rolled something really bad, we still have the blot on the bar point that is difficult to cover, so it's a big risk and not such a big improvement here. Okay, so number 3. So binary choice. You hit on the deuce? The raise is 80 to 103, sorry. Cube is given, of course. So, who is gonna play 15, 14, 7 to 2? Okay. So, and who's gonna play the ugly play? Anybody? So that's pretty evenish, but I think the ugly play gains by like 3 votes or something, and the ugly play is correct. So what's the reason for this? I mean, this position is again a bit deceiving, because when you look at the return hits from our opponent, most of them cover at least 1 inner blot. So there is hardly any hit to 1 is maybe bad, but all the rest covers at least 1 inner board blot, and then you really have to come in to, otherwise the game may be lost. So this is a situation. The only disadvantage of the ugly play is basically that it makes it more difficult to get a close board, and that means it's less likely that you win a gammon. So that's the main disadvantage of the ugly play. And you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but the ugly play just wins 6 percentage points more games, and that's the big advantage. We are already in the end stage, basically, so the game won't last for much longer. And I mean, think about it like that. At DMP, you probably wouldn't leave the blot. So then it's only about the gammons, and yeah, it's just like, yeah, these 2 inner board blots, I think that's the most deceiving part of the position. So then you may think you can do anything you like, but no. Okay, so we have 10 positions. I think we will get to all of them. So we certainly will hit on the 3. So do you play on the 13-10, 8 to 5, or the ugly 4 to 1? So who is playing 13-10? The raise, I always forget the raise, 107 to 128. And after the hit, the racing lead, of course, is much bigger. Okay, anybody 13-10 with the 3? Doesn't. I mean, it doesn't make much sense, to be honest, to give up the midpoint and just, yeah. Okay, so I can tell you, you are correct for not choosing 13-10. So who's going to play? Who's playing 8 to 5? Okay, and who's playing 4 to 1? So I guess it's the majority 4 to 1, but this time it's wrong. And the reason, what's the reason for this? Why it's wrong?
Long game.
Long game. The cube is already given. Yeah. Yeah, not, I mean, this is again an example.
You're going to close out the board.
Yeah. Yeah, tons of work to do. So look at the position with the cube in the center. So now you don't have tons of work to do. If your opponent dances, it's over. So it's the only or the main difference, or the most important factor here is, like in the example with the double 4s, is the position of the cube. The cube, your cube is in the center. Before, the cube was given, and then the game, we have to win the game, we have to play until the end. And now, so difference in equity. So I mean, it goes from a 56 mistake, the ugly play, to being correct by 87. So that's almost 140 difference because of the position of the cube. But I mean, it's the same reasoning. Why should we take any risk if the outcome on our opponent dancing is exactly the same? Double pass. Yes?
It is a pass if
Yeah,
you...
yeah, I checked it out, so I can say this with confidence. or at least, I mean, it doesn't need to be a pass. It only needs to be a strong, efficient cube. So that is, but a pass, of course, is better because with the dead checker, you don't want to play the game until the end necessarily.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Does your analysis take into account the difference in quality of the people that are playing?
No, not at all. Not for the lecture. That would be another layer of complexity. So I think that would make it only more confusing. Of course, in general, when you're playing a weaker opponent, you would like to play longer games and more complicated games. But but I didn't take it into account. That just makes it just more confusing to me and probably to you as well. Okay. So we hit 9-4. So do we lift or not? So 138, 134. Always I forget it. I didn't have that on the radar when I prepared.
Pick and pass.
Pick and pass? Okay, so who wants to play pick and pass? Okay, anybody who wants to leave the blot? Blake and okay, 2, 3. Okay, vast majority wants to play pick and pass. And here again, all the ingredients are there. Close race. We really don't want to get hit, and the Dilly builder can still be used. I mean, if our opponent enters on the deuce, it can be used for a blitzing attack. It's not completely out of play, and the risk is just too great here. And yeah, you can see, you can guess what I played in the original. That's why the position is here, why it went into my database. Okay, so there was any questions on this position?
What if the blot was on the 5 and it was a 4-2? I guess.
Yeah, then you make the 5.
Then you make the 5.
yeah. Of course, making the 5 is, I think, pretty clear because it's far fewer return shots and basically, for example, when your opponent dances, you have a very good game. So I think then you just make the 5. Yeah. Okay, so thirteen. Okay, race. Just start with the race. 120 to 156 in our favor. The 4 is down to the 9 point, of course. And where's the ace? No, that's just too difficult to get home. Even if you escape your back checker in the end, then it would be so hard to get all your checkers home. So that's not a good option. So okay, so who's playing 13-8? Okay. And who's playing 2-1? Okay, I think slight plurality, at least majority for 2-1, and most of you are correct. So this is another game plan thing. Your best game plan here, of course, you have one checker back. You are leading in the race, and you just want to get this home. Yeah.
I was going to play 6 to the 2 and 6 to the 5.
Yeah, we talked about it before, and I explained why this is not a good option. Because first of all, I mean, the main reason is even if you escape your back checker, with the open 6 point, it will be so hard to get this home. So it will cost. So it's much better. I mean, for example, imagine your opponent enters on the 4 point, and you escape your back checker. So then it's like a 4 point holding game. And once we get to this stage, that it's a 4 point holding game, you actually don't care whether that checker is on the ace point. It's like pretty much like when you're bearing your checkers off or bearing them in and you just want to get them home safely, then all of a sudden 3 checkers on the ace point don't look that bad anymore. I mean, we have that in our pattern recognition when we're just bearing off and we don't care anymore. I mean, of course we care a little bit, but it's not like it looks horrible anymore to have a 3rd checker on the ace when our main concern is just to bear off our checkers safely. And that's like our plan here is escape our back checker, hope that our opponent enters on a high point, and then once we got to that holding situation, it isn't aesthetically pleasing, but it's not damaging anymore to the position if we get to that stage. Any other questions?
If he comes in on the 2, isn't that a goalie to some extent?
Yeah. I mean, but it's still much better. If we know he rolls a 2, we still want to lift, right? Instead of getting hit. So, and the goalie on the 2 point is not as good as the goalie on the ace point. And sooner or later, our opponent will have to move it. Actually, probably at this stage, when we have 1 checker back, our opponent doesn't even want to have it there. For example, we play the ugly play and our opponent rolls a 2-5. Probably our opponent will just jump to the bar point and leave the spot immediately. Any more questions?
I just want to say that you probably would play 8-3 with a 5.
Ah, yeah, 8-3. Yeah. Okay, that's correct. Yeah, probably, but it's not like he's really wanting to keep that checker there for long at that stage. So usually the goalkeeper becomes really important when your opponent has escaped with all his checkers. With 1 checker back, White's plan is to attack black to contain that 1 checker, and the goalie is not that important. Yes.
I was just saying, I think a critical feature of this position is that White misses with his 5s and 6s. I think if you move that stack on the 8 back to the 9 or 10, I suspect it would be a very close play.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, it's not a big mistake or a super big mistake. So it's kind of close. So you can imagine with some smaller changes. And again, it's too bad that it's a PowerPoint and not XG. So we could play around with the positions. But anyhow, maybe I can post all the positions online and you can download them or something that you can play around with the positions. And I mean, that's what I always do. Okay. Then we go to the next. Okay. Ugly position already. Do we make it uglier? Or do we volunteer a shot? So choices are 10-9, 10-5. Race. I think give me another 12 problems and I will announce the race immediately. 82 to 112. Okay, ready for a vote? So who is volunteering? Okay, so 10-9, 10-5 is volunteering, yeah. Okay, so, and who is playing 6-1, 2-1? Okay, and the majority is not correct. First time. It's the first time you disappoint me. I think so far the majority was always on the right path. So
Check it again.
So this is the main argument. The problem here is our opponent plays a contact game. So our opponent needs to hit us in order to win. So once we play 2-1, we have a blot in our home board and completely destroyed our structure. So now White can move the back checkers or the checkers from the midpoint freely. So then White can create contact by just leaving a blot. So White rolls whatever, a 5-2. White will happily leave the blot on the midpoint and keep the contact. So if you keep the board strongish, I mean, it's not a super strong board, but at least without a blot. If white misses, then white has to do something. So that I guess.
So if there's if there's an extra checker on the 2, then 2-1.
At least that's what I would play. I cannot guarantee because I haven't checked it out. But I think the main problem is that you have to destroy your board, and white can leave blots and jump out from the 21, create more contact. And it will just be a nightmare to get this home.
I was the 6-1-2-1 person, and the reason was that I thought
Pardon?
getting gammon less. And in truth, that play actually, if I'm reading it correctly,
Yeah. Okay. Talking about the gammons. Yeah. 6-1-2-1 actually is the DMP play. I think another reason, another layer of complexity that I haven't talked about is when you destroy your board, you will basically or very rarely get into a situation where you have a decent cube. So you probably will have to clear your points first, roll a big double, and then you win with the cube. Whereas when you make the risky play and it works, you can imagine with a big racing lead and white having to give up the midpoint or something, that at some point of the game you will be able to cube and gain equity with the cube. So this is actually a very good observation that escaped me. It's not only the gammon losses that increase when you leave the blot, because then white can really play messy and pick up maybe more blots or something. But it's also the cube also matters, I think. I mean, that's right now it's only an educated guess. I would have to verify it. But yeah, for me it's hard to imagine after 6-1, 2-1 to get to an efficient cube in the near future, unless okay, if I roll double sixes in the next, or double five, it's better, then I have a cube. But then it's also not very efficient because I have basically won the game. It doesn't help me much. So, but in the other variation, I can see more good cubes when it works. And there's basically no cube power for our opponent either when we play the risky play, because our opponent probably shouldn't cube us before hitting, and after hitting the game is won anyway. So there's very little cube use for opponent if we play risky. Whereas when we play the ugly play, then you can imagine situations where we have to leave a double shot and our opponent can efficiently cube on the shot alone before hitting. Here it's just cube stays in the center, and after a hit, game is over anyway, so no efficiency for opponent. So certainly this is a factor.
Okay, so I think this position points out something interesting just about XG.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If you look at the numbers, like the estimates of wins, gammons, and backgammons, if you translate those numbers into an equity, right, you're not going to get those numbers.
No. That's the famous cubeless and cubeful equities.
Yeah, so the cubeful equity is it's closer to reality.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people, a lot of commentators I see, you know, will say, oh, he hardly wins any more. You know, the number of gammons won is about the same. The number of gammons lost is
that's all cubeless.
Or the number of wins is 3%. Is that really going to come out to 0.089? Probably not quite.
No.
So I haven't done it in my head, but that's important. Because,
yeah.
You can't just look at the numbers and say that's how many gammons will actually.
Yeah, that's true, especially in these situations when you play with the Jacobi rule. All those gammons go out of the window after you hit, and
if you're playing Jacobi, right? So if I don't want to take the match score into consideration, but I want to sort of map a money game onto, any early match score in a reasonably length match, then I do money no Jacobi.
Yeah, now I do that too. So now I was torn when writing the theory of backgammon. Shall I choose Jacobi, which reflects reality, and also I wanted to talk in the book about the effects of the rule, but actually I like it better without Jacobi for better comparability with neutral match scores and any match score there is. Yeah, that's a good point. So you can, by the way, in XG you can hover over the results, and then you see the cubeless equities, and then you can compare cubeless equities with cube-full equities. Yes?
Kind of as an aside, I want to learn how to use XG better. What is the best online tutorial for XG better? Do you know?
I think Phil Zimborg did something once, like a 20-minute or Nick Blaze. I don't know.
I think Phil wants $25.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but Phil did something,
It's
right?
probably worth it. I mean,
Yeah, especially if you work with the program every day and you don't know how to do it. Sometimes my students ask me in the lesson, can we talk like half an hour about the use of XG or something? So yeah, but there are some videos out, but I know about Phil Zimborg and yeah, Nick Blazier. Okay, I didn't know, but you can find some material, certainly. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, just maybe we can hold the rest of the questions till the end.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, because we are already approaching the end of the lesson, so we have to speed up a bit. Yeah, maybe. So is it fine if we take 5 or 10 minutes longer? Then, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, she just wants to start in a few minutes, so
yeah,
let's just hold the rest of the questions until after, but I appreciate everyone's feedback. It's really...
Okay, so only better question just to the position. If something is really important is coming up. So what are you going to do here? Do you jump? Pip count. I'm getting better and better at this. 147, 166. So jump out, 6 down, or 8 to 2. So who's going to play 8 to 2? Let's start with the ugly. Okay. 13-7, anybody? And 15. So it's like pretty much even distribution, and it's 13-7 is correct. And the main reason why we can play more purely here, I mean, 15 is just like, I mean, right now the anchor is an important asset. With playing with 3 blots is just like 4s hit us, 3s and aces cover, 3 hit us, and so it's just too risky. And we can afford to play 8 to 2 basically because of our opponent's blot. So we can play a bit more risky, and we have the anchor. So as you can see, put that blot away. So then it's already the super ugly 8 to 2. And again, but the features, they are there. It's not going to be a prime. We are not going to be priming in this game. Pretty much sure of it. So and hitting is much more costly. I mean, we don't want to get hit. I think I still would have had difficulties to play 8 to 2, but just to show you. I mean, even after I did this lecture, I still have difficulties. In my match against Oliver, I refused to play ugly at some point. It was a big blunder. Well, whatever. Forget about it. Okay. So let's go. It's only 10 positions, so we're almost there. So 10 to 9 is the ace. Where's the 4? Out or 6 to 2? I'm getting worse again. 132 to, we have 132, and our opponent has 123. 9 pips down in the race.
I'm going to do 6 to 1.
Okay, so who wants to play 22-18? Okay. And who wants to play 6 to 2? Okay, majority wins. So basically, we don't want to play a 4 at all. The best for equity would be to forfeit the 4. So we have two really bad options, and it's simply the checker on the, talking about putting checkers where they belong. Our inner board, our extra checker in the inner board belongs on the 6 point, that's true. But our blot in our opponent's board belongs on the 22. So we have to put one checker of the two where it doesn't belong. And it's just worse. The 22 is just a much better place because it also threatens our opponent's blot. So white has to do something and leaves fewer numbers, and it's 6-2 is not nice, but again, it's a tactical game, it's a mutual holding game, so we can live with it basically. So that's another of these holding situations, and 6-2 is indeed the lesser of two evils. Okay, last one. So again, similar, we've seen it already. We can volunteer, or we can break our 6 point.
98-105.
So anybody who wants to break the 6 point?
Better recognition.
Okay, so everybody else wants to volunteer, playing 13-10, 13-9, or the majority just doesn't want to give an opinion. It seems pip count, forget the pip count. 98.
8-1 is not even a consideration.
8-1 is not among the top because it risks something and it doesn't solve the main problem. So the problem that we want to solve when we take a risk is clearing our midpoint. So, okay, so no more votes, and as you may have guessed, so I left the ugliest play of all for the last position, of course. How else can it be? So this is not only a pattern recognition, but it's also tactics, because when you look at the position, if white rolls a 6-1 or a 6-3, that checker on the 24 point is gone. So you don't care what a mess you have in your home board. That checker won't disturb you anymore. So, and just almost finished. Just to show you. Okay. So when we move one of white's checkers outside, so that tactical argument doesn't hold anymore. So now white doesn't have to move the back checker with a 6-3 or 6-1. Then we are back in our normal backgammon universe. We do what we are supposed to do, volunteer and hope that we survive, and just not play the ugliest play of all, I would say. So, well, yeah, time is running out. Candace is already getting nervous. So, so thank you all very much, and hope you liked it.
Thank you very much. If you want to go sign books in the other room, it's cooler. I know that's
Yeah. But yeah, for now I'm fine.
Let me go ahead and finish this.
Yeah.
So you're gonna sign this now?
Yeah, sure. It was great. I hope you ruined everybody.
Thank you to everyone for joining the live stream. I know there was some comments about the audience cam, so that wasn't working, but it was a full house. I didn't want to adjust it in the middle of the stream, but I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. You'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, what you like to see in future videos, and I'll work on it. If you love backgammon, you can become a member of this channel, giving you exclusive access to the most popular videos. My book, Backgammon Backgame Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. If you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. I look forward to seeing you in future videos. And until then, keep rolling.